I mean, anytime you get featured on, what is it, HGTV, right? Like,
Yeah.
You're doing something, right? All right, guys, welcome back. It's Rodrigo Fondor, episode 22. Really excited to be joined by Nicolette today, and she's the owner of the Motley Hospitality Group. I'm pronouncing that correct.
You are, yes.
And she does short-term rentals, and here in the Asheville area,
Yes.
with a very unique twist. Don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. I don't know.
Well, I mean, anytime you get featured on, what is it, HGTV, right? Like,
Yeah.
You're doing something, right?
I hope so. My clients are probably doing something more right than I am. But yeah, I own Motley Hospitality. We're a boutique multi-unit lodging company. We focus on taking our clients, our investors, real estate properties, and maximizing the potential of them. So I say Motley is kind of a love child of my passions as a person and my experience in my profession. And that would be, I'm a traveler, backpack extensively. And that's kind of where I fell in love with hospitality. And I think I fell in love with the small scale experience and how that can really impact.
When you were traveling?
Yeah, you're traveling, just the hospitality behind it, the individuality of the properties that take on the owner, you know, the owner's personality or the management's personality. And so, yeah, I started my company, and I also have a background in global entertainment production and event production. So,
well versed.
Yeah, so, you know, I kind of combined managing properties. I managed B&B here for a couple years. I was the youngest host in the industry. I was also the chef, the innkeeper.
Oh, wow.
So I learned a lot, and I learned it by just throwing myself in there, and now I help my clients make money.
Work done, huh?
Yeah.
So just going back to the travel component, is there a specific memory you have when you're backpacking? You're like, ooh, like I want to be on the opposite side of this, or is it just a collection of, you know, memories, events, or trips that led you into the industry?
You know, that's a really good question. I actually do kind of have an aha moment.
Okay.
And when I was traveling, I stayed on a houseboat in Amsterdam.
Houseboat.
And, you know, we were in the canal, and we had this awesome local owner, and, you know, he had all these like amazing goodies for us when we showed up that were all local, and like just candy and coffee, and I just thought, wow, you know, this is so cool, and and it's so much different than a hotel. And you know, I'm anti big business in corporate America anyways. I'm all about shopping local, staying local, and you know, when people travel, really you want to connect and be submersed in the community. And you know, Hilton and hotels don't really do that for you. So the best way when you travel is to stay, you know, anything under 50 rooms. You're going to have a really personal experience. And I think that's what I fell in love with. And I didn't know at the time how I was going to figure that out in my life. But I was determined to take a consulting background and my passions and figure it out.
So houseboat to today was how much time span?
Oh gosh, 5 years.
5 years.
Yep. So I actually walked out of corporate America in 2014. I traveled in 12 and 13. I probably stayed in over 60 unique accommodations between Europe and South America, from houseboats to ecodomes to just camping in the middle of nowhere to hostels to to B&Bs, you name it. A lot of them are used synonymously anyways, but I also saw it as a great way to make passive income. So so I kind of fell in love with helping people make the most of their property based on everything that I'd learned.
And this year is your first running your own ship, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been quite a year. Starting a business is just scary and fun and constant work and
roller coaster of emotions, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, and it can change quickly, and particularly with the laws around what I do. You just, you know, you have to be adaptable, and we've been really adaptable this year, and maybe trying to figure ourselves out and grow up at the same time. And, you know, but I think that if you do what you love and you do it legally and with everything you have, things fall into place, and I feel like we've been fortunate. So
yeah, well, no, I agree wholeheartedly with that. I mean, obviously I'm in real estate as well. It's kind of, we connected on Instagram, which was really fun. Which is a great place to hang out, guys.
Yeah, it is.
We're both on Instagram, and we'll have our handles up and whatnot, so you can follow, check it out. You have great pictures all the time.
Thank
Some
you.
of your guest submissions as well too. So it's
they're having
really
a lot of
exciting.
fun. I'm getting some good stuff.
Great
I'm
pictures, absolutely.
I know. I feel like I need to hire all my guests. They're amazing.
So we live in Asheville. It's a destination city. People love to come here.
Yeah.
And obviously you have a unique perspective on that. A lot of back and forth and tension with what should be allowed, what shouldn't be allowed. And obviously, as you mentioned, there's a lot of things that you're allowed to do legally, and there's some things that where everybody's kind of waiting to find out what happens. And I don't know, whatever, is this an industry that you can tap into as an individual, as a resident? Maybe you shouldn't and wait until things get cleared up?
That is a great question, and I do consulting as well. I get a lot of my real estate agent friends having people that want to invest, and the truth is that it takes a level of regulation, and it takes a level of professionalism, and I would say that I'm all about wanting people in the community. I know how expensive it is to live here. I know what it's like to be poor here and struggle here in an area that has 88,000 people, yet brings in 11 million travelers. So there's, those numbers are quite skewed. You're looking at an industry that literally supports, a lot of people coming in. And I would say that I want people to be able to make money. I want people to be able to, as the real estate prices rise, that. I think that sustainable tourism here is part of what's created the gap. I'd like to see more people get back to that. And people need to know what they're doing. And I think the expectation of travelers, whether they're staying in an Airbnb or a hotel, Asheville's ranked, consistently by Condé Nast Travel and Leisure. So we're getting groomed, well-versed travelers, and they expect the unit to be clean. They expect it to be professional. They expect a professional host. And so I would say that if you have experience in the industry in any way, all for it. If you're not, know what you're getting into, know the laws before you spend any money, and know that the laws are constantly changing. So by the time you make an investment and by the time you're finished with your build, it could change. So, know your zoning, understand that. I'd love to see more education for the public around that.
And that's tough. It just seems like, I know that's something personally on our end, we haven't done anything on the short-term rental. I know a lot of that is just, there's so much information, and it feels like every time you go ask somebody about it, you get a different answer depending on who you talk to, the city and the county. It's like, we'll just stick to what we know, and that seems like really sound advice.
But you should also know that it's $500 per infraction, and that's retroactive. So, should you get caught breaking the laws here,
you might not even be knowing you're breaking the law, right?
They don't just hit you with one $500 fine. They're going to go all the way back, and they're going to hit every time that you have made that infraction, and that can be $10,000. So it's important that real estate agents, investors, if you're advising your clients, talk to someone like me, talk to the city, talk to more than one person, make sure that your information is sound and that you know what you're doing with your money.
Part of the argument or the conversation surrounds is like
the argument.
But I mean it is, right?
True.
So it's like,
it kind of is.
Obviously, at least I'll say what I've heard. I don't know if you'd agree with this, but I've heard that there's some tension between the hotel groups coming in with the city, like having certain expectations that the city should do things for them or whatever, and then you got, I'll call myself like, one of the small, like I have a house and I want to do something with it, and then you got somebody like yourself, different other management companies, and I don't know, it seems like there's 11 million people visiting us every year. Like we should all find a way to coexist. Is there something that those numbers that we're missing, or?
No, that's a great, there's from being in the B&B industry and the boutique industry here, I like multi-units. Right. So that's what I focus on. But I'd love to see, I'm novelty lodging as well. So, there are people here like Asheville Glamping, my friend Joanna, she's doing amazing out there, and she's been so gracious with us. And, you don't feel the competition, you feel more the camaraderie. And I wish that the different subgroups of the hospitality industry, particularly the short-term rentals, the hotels, in the bed and breakfast industry, you know, everybody's on the same team. You know, there's enough abundance here for everybody. The pie is big. And, you know, I think that when one subgroup, there's an influx in travel there, it's a positive thing for everybody. So, you know, right now short-term rentals are taking off. That's actually really positive, you know, for multi-units, but it's also forcing other industries to evolve their business model. And, you know, a lot of that just takes, again, knowing what travelers' motivations are, knowing your target market, but really just really truly fully understanding the travel industry and how it's progressing. And so yeah, I'd like to see more people get along and less, you know,
I agree. It's
band together, you're going to make a bigger impact. So
work together, learn from each other, and
exactly.
You're not going to be able to host 11 million people by yourself. Anyway,
exactly, and they want different things. So yeah.
On that note, so just, you know, obviously, if somebody's going to do this, they need to be educated.
Absolutely.
They need to understand what their zoning is, what the city allows them to do. But let's say somebody goes through those checklists, a 30-second tip of wisdom or golden nugget somebody should be like, if they want to just, let's say, do the Airbnb, they've got the extra room in their house, kids have moved out, they bought a house that's got too many, whatever that case may be. What is that one thing that they could do today to like take a positive step forward in that direction?
Well, call me. No, I'm just kidding.
Action item number two.
Call me. Talk to a professional. Get multiple opinions. Again, before you spend any money, understand the industry. Do the homework. Do the research. Understand the laws, and even more than that, you know, understand what boutique lodging like myself, you know, understand the things that we do, understand the processes, the housekeeping, you know, linen should be professionally clean, certain products to meet health code standards, you know, should be used in certain places. And that's legislation that's changing now too. So you're gonna have to educate yourself. It's not a market, particularly in Asheville, that you can, I know it sounds glamorous just to open up your room and start making money, but it's a lot more serious than that. It's a real game. There's real big money involved, and you can damage yourself extremely quickly legally, and then just not knowing, thinking you can operate your rental and not understanding anything about what you're doing. You know, as soon as you start getting bad reviews, which happen if you don't know what you're doing,
I've always heard you
it's
live
hard
and
to
die
come
by your
back
reviews,
from that.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you know, people are moving away from TripAdvisor to platforms like Airbnb. TripAdvisor is kind of more of a traveler's opinion, and I believe that as the travel industry as a whole moves more to a more organic, holistic type of travel experience, which the small market, the boutique market represents and provides travelers. It's going to be important that you're up to that game if you have a whole house rental. Now, if you have a room, you know,
make it nice.
Yeah, you don't have a whole lot to lose there because you probably haven't made a large investment.
Gotcha.
But if you're investing more than, you know, $20,000, most of the people that I work with, you know, their property, these are multi-million-dollar properties. These are big. These are investments with you know, long-term risk and long-term, you know, long-term reward. And you just, it's determined by you, honestly. So,
of course.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's super interesting. You know, kind of as we're wrapping up, moving away from the specific short term, any, you know, how's the first year of business been? Like,
oh man,
something you go back, you know, hey, that was like, it was fun, something you learned that you were maybe expecting, just like.
Yeah, you know, I've learned patience.
One of my favorite words,
Yeah, I've learned the art of not forcing things to transpire. I come from, again, a corporate background and business development. I have worked on big dollar deals with, you know, events, particularly like the Kentucky Derby. And it's more about forming relationships and letting things kind of pan out how they should. And I think that's probably been my biggest lesson this year is work hard every day, be yourself, and don't watch your competition. I've actually just started tuning into my competition a little bit now, but I made a point when I started my company to make sure that, you know, a lot of the brands in the management when it comes to managing and a lot of the values in the management. So I just kind of have made a point to make sure that I was being myself and kind of speaking my own truth and, you know, caring what people think, and you just gotta put
so
yourself
hard
out there.
sometimes.
It's so scary.
Yeah, that was one
and
of the.
I've been critiqued, I've been judged,
sure.
I've had nasty things said to me and about me, and we all have, and you just gotta keep moving. I don't care. So
put your head down, focus on what you can
focus
control,
on
and
yourself.
then you go, right? Yeah.
Again, enough. The pie here is big enough for everybody.
Right.
So I just encourage everybody to
figure out
start
how
a
to
business
do that.
here.
Yeah,
Live your passions, figure it out, and do it. So.
Cool. Well, what's the best way for somebody to get connected with you if they do want to, get some questions answered from
Sure.
you, or tap into your wisdom? What's the way to do that?
Yeah, I'd love to talk to anybody, honestly, particularly Michael's, to kind of help people out and
Mm-hmm.
make sure that they're doing it right, and whether I'm managing their property or not. You can reach me at hi@motleyhospitality.com, or you can follow me on Instagram.
It's a great follow.
Message me there. I don't have a website. I'm just playing low key right now. Hopefully that's coming next year, but or you can call me, and you can find that on Instagram as well.
Cool, awesome, Nicolette. Thanks so much.
Thank you for
Best of luck
having me.
next year. Absolutely.
Thank you. You too.